Hello everybody and welcome back to MGA Video Lessons. I am Coach Kellen and today we are going to be working on butterflies. This is going to be a short video. I'm just giving you some drills, some tutorials, some tips about how to learn a butterfly. If you don't know what a butterfly is, it's pretty common in martial arts, but it's also in gymnastics and even used sometimes in parkour. So I'm going to demonstrate a butterfly for you now so that everybody has a clear idea of what we're working on here. A butterfly starts facing forward with the legs separated, and basically what we're doing here is we're swinging our body in one direction, kicking our feet the opposite direction, and spinning kind of horizontally in the air. So as you can see, the objective when you do this is to get your body nice and flat, and the way you do that is by lifting your chest up as you come over the top and lifting your legs nice and high. But there's a lot of stuff you have to do before that. So let's work on the prep first. What's important is to have a wide stance with your legs, rocking your body side to side. So what we're going to practice first is, you notice when I started here, my weight is this direction. And then as I'm getting ready, I'm bending here and I'm dropping my chest down and bringing it back up this way. Okay, because what that's letting us do is actually put our rib cage down on our quadricep right here so that you can use that to push your body off the floor. So here's what we're going to work on first. We're going to keep our arms parallel for this, okay? We're going to start on one side right here. And what we're going to do is just kind of go up on our toe, bend our leg on the opposite side, dip down, and then throw this way. Just getting that nice U shape with your chest first. So we started here again, arms out to the side, we go up, bend, and come around. It's even okay to have this foot off the floor. If you want to start like this and actually step into it that way, that's perfectly fine as well. Another good thing to practice when you're working on that prep to go into the butterfly is to work on just the rocking motion. So another good thing to do is, again, start with your feet a little bit wider than shoulder width apart, and practice just bending to one side, down, up to the other side. Starting on one side, bending, and then bending and straightening out the other leg. So this leg is straight, this leg bends, and then we transfer the weight and push off the other side. This is probably a good time to stop and make sure that you know that it's okay to do either direction. I happen to do most things to the left. I do cartwheels to the left, I twist to the left, and I do my butterflies to the left. But there's no right or wrong way to do this. So pick both sides. Try it a couple times where you're doing that spin that we practiced. Try both ways. Typically though, if you know how to do a cartwheel, if you do a left-handed cartwheel, which means you're putting your left hand down first, you can pretty much guarantee that you're gonna feel more comfortable going with your left leg into the butterfly. As we're doing this, we're gonna be working on our arms as well. So the arms are parallel. Starting this way, they swing down side by side, they swing up side by side. The only time they come apart actually is when we're in the air. I'm gonna show you one from a sideward angle this way. So as you can see, what we're using that kind of centrifugal force to pull our body out in the middle of the air. And the way that we do that is by using our body weight. This isn't a muscling skill, so this is all about learning how to throw different parts of your body the directions that they need to go to create enough force to literally lift you and spin you off the ground. Another really important thing to remember here is that when we're working on this prep, that it's not just the arms that are moving, it's not just the legs, but your entire upper body is moving. So as you start, when you're reaching your arms to the side, my shoulders aren't gonna stay still. I'm actually gonna twist my entire torso this direction. I'm gonna twist even all as low as my hips, all the way to the side, and then we dip down, and then we untwist this way, okay? So we're getting that wind up feeling. You're winding your whole body up first, getting away up on your toe or lift off the ground, then you're gonna bend and untwist. And that twisting this way along with the throw is what's gonna give us that force to help lift us off of the ground. Okay, for the next step, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start adding the kick with the leg, okay? And this is very important that you're making sure that you kick your leg the correct direction. A lot of times when people are learning the butterfly, there's a tendency to wanna kick forward like this, but in actuality, because you're turned this way, you're kicking your leg actually a little bit up and back this way. So you're kicking it like this rather than kicking like this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna practice that now. Starting right here, we're just gonna do our beginning slowly again, up on your toe or lift it off the ground, and step, swing down. And what we're gonna do is kick, lift and kick your back leg, okay? Now you notice when I kicked my back leg, I spun, okay? And the way I did that is just by going up on my toe. So again, we start wide, stance with our legs, arms parallel, lift it up, bend, drop down, throw, kick. Okay, so my arms are throwing out to the side, and as they're coming up the side, I'm straightening out this leg and then kicking my leg up and backward behind me. So what you want to do is you want to practice that a few times and get it so that's nice and strong. Don't be afraid to lose a little bit of control. Try not to fall on your face because that's not fun. But what you do want to do is kind of get a good spin going around, because this is all about getting that force, that centrifugal force, that we're throwing our body one way, throwing our legs the other way, and spinning like a frisbee. And the last phase of the butterfly is the landing phase. So one thing that's really important is when you're doing the butterfly, make sure that you catch on a bent leg. We don't land with the leg straight, especially twisting, because you can hurt your knee. So what we do is when you want to land toe, heel bend, okay? So when you land it, your toes are kind of pointing in the air like this. We catch ourselves, bend, and step out. You want it to be a nice, smooth transition coming out. Not only is it safer, also you're gonna look a lot more in control when you land. It's gonna look more impressive. So before we just go ahead and jump into actually lifting off the floor, there are some really good drills that you can do to help you learn the butterfly first, to get the basic mechanics of it before you go ahead and just start throwing your body off the floor. So one way to do that, if you have a cartwheel, this really helps out a lot. So what we can do is we can start with something about as high as your waist would be preferable. I have some mats here, but obviously if you don't have mats like this at home, it's okay. Just find something that is stable, obviously, that's relatively that height, and preferably something that if you were to kind of collapse on it, you're not gonna hurt yourself or hurt whatever you're collapsing on. Okay, so I have some mats here. This is actually a little bit lower than my waist, and that's okay. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start right beside it this way, okay? We don't wanna be too far in front of it. You definitely don't wanna be behind it, but just right about to the front face of it is fine. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the position that we just did, getting that weight transfer. And what I'm gonna do this time, instead of just throwing my arms, I'm gonna throw and place my hands down right on top here. And then I'm gonna do that kick we did with our legs. And one thing that you'll notice when I do this is that after I go over, I'm gonna be planting my right leg down, and I'm gonna be turning out and facing the same way that we started. So let's start this side here, and we're gonna do it slowly first. Starting on one side, arms up. We're gonna transfer our weight, hands down, kick, and finish on the other side. Again, starting right here, arms out. I'm gonna place my hands down, kick up, and come out. So let's go ahead and speed that up. I have this turned back the other direction again. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna start to throw our body a little bit now. As you feel comfortable, after you've gone over a few times and you feel fairly comfortable about getting over, we're gonna start to speed it up a little bit, because the objective here is to get less and less weight on our hands. So we're gonna start here. We're gonna get a little bit faster swing this time, get a really good kick with our legs, and over to the other side. What I'm doing now is I'm having my arms a little bit more bent, okay? Because what we want is we don't want to be really pushing on our hands. Our hands are just kind of there to hold our chest up. Here, wide stance, arms are swinging parallel, we're rocking the body down, throw up, kick, and down, okay? And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get on my fingertips. So let's turn it sideways here. And you notice this time, I'm not gonna really push, rather I'm just gonna kind of place them down. So I'm starting this way, arms out, good swing. Okay, so now to the fun part. Now we're gonna start to get it more off of the blocks so that we're not really using it too much. So we're gonna start here. And again, remember to twist your body as we do this. So you're gonna wind up here, twist. And as we throw, what we wanna do is we wanna increase the speed of the arms throwing, and we wanna increase the kick behind us. Both those things are equally important. So we start here, wind it up, bend, throw. And what I'm doing now is I'm delaying putting my hands down. So before, where I was putting my hands down right away, like this, now what I'm doing is I'm actually getting a little bit of air time before I put my hands down. So I'm here, winding up, I'm going up, and we're delaying it, okay? And when you get to the point where you're just tapping your hands at the very end, that's when it's time to take the block out. When you're first learning these, if you have something soft that you can do it on, that's gonna be preferable, because there may be a couple times where you land on your knees first, okay? But what we're gonna do is we're gonna start kind of slowly, but what we're gonna do at first, we're not gonna get that full extension yet. The first couple times you do it, You can kind of play it safe and just kind of focus down at the floor when you do it. So we start here, just kind of look at the floor and just try to get comfortable with getting that turn of your body, with pushing off the floor and getting that feeling of spinning all the way around. Okay, so you notice when I did it, I'm not lifting my chest way up just yet. We're gonna get to that, but first we need to feel comfortable with it first, that we're not just throwing ourselves onto our stomach. So here's a different view. You go right from here to the side, and we're just kind of focusing again down at the floor and coming up. And you notice there's not a lot of air time. My feet are just coming up and coming right down. That's why it's a very safe way to do this at first. But now what I'm just gonna start to do is I'm gonna start to speed it up, and I'm especially gonna start using my arms more. So watch this time. I'm gonna do a little bit more arm throw. And you notice the arm throw alone, even though I'm still looking down, the arm throw is already lifting me higher off the floor. So we're gonna do that again, a little bit stronger this time. And now what I'm gonna start to do is I'm gonna combine with the throw of the arms, I'm gonna start to lift my chest up. Okay, when you do a good butterfly, you're actually gonna be looking, instead of down at the floor, you're actually gonna be looking out that way. And spotting with your head is a really important part of this, because where your head is positioned, where you're focusing your vision, is gonna determine where your body is and what it looks like in the air. So this time, side view. I'm gonna look, instead of straight down, now I'm gonna start to look out a little bit more. And now you can see it's starting to lift up a little bit more. Now to really polish this off, what I'm gonna do is as I go, I swing my arms, I have my focus, I'm getting that good twist and I'm throwing. And now to really kind of give it that extra touch of just looking really clean and polished and tight is to lift my arms out to the side. Because what we want to do, if you want a really impressive looking butterfly, you don't want to just turn around. What you want to do is you want to really accentuate that position in the middle of it, where your arms are out, your legs are out, your whole body is just sprawled out, completely open and straight and as big as you can. You want to make your body as large as you can and as flat as you can, starting this way. Now, but you can see going up and opening. I'll show you from the side. Okay, so as you can see, it just gives you that little bit of wow factor when you're in the middle of the butterfly, because it looks like your body stalls out in the middle of the air, and that's what we want. And it's also important for when you want to learn twisting butterflies, which is another video we're gonna do. So practice this, okay? And if you have any parts that you struggle with, don't rush through it, okay? One of the most important things when you're learning stuff like this is to master the basics first. So if you have the mat out and you're not really proficient at going over it and you don't feel comfortable, don't go to the next step, okay? Because if you do go to the next step and you get through it, it's not gonna be pretty and you're gonna end up getting a butterfly that doesn't look all that great. Okay, and that's not the objective. The objective is, number one, to stay safe, but number two, to get a skill that looks clean and impressive. All right, so thanks a lot for joining us today. Don't forget to subscribe to our videos. We have a whole bunch of different videos involving handstands, cartwheels, bridges, parkour skills, gymnastics skills, exercise video. There's a whole lot of useful videos, and also just some inspirational videos that are kind of cool that might get you hyped up a little bit when you're working this kind of stuff. If you guys have any requests for video tutorials, or if you have any questions about anything you saw in this video, go ahead and put it in the comments and I'll respond to it personally. I can maybe give you guys some extra pointers or insight into things that we did today. All right, we'll see you next time.